Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Bob here once again, back with Bus Tale number 6, I believe. I'm sure this is the 6th one of these I've done. Right, this one's mid 80. No, it's not. I'm lying to you. Sorry, it's about 1993. This one turned up, and I was working for a particular coach firm just on the outskirts of Cambridge that used to do all sorts of work. Whatever work was going, the boss would take on. He really didn't care, and he had a contract to move the army about when they were doing manoeuvres and exercise and all that sort of stuff. And we used to get the crappiest work ever, where all the new recruits, they used to go to this great big place just outside Cambridge called Bassingbourn Barracks, and for anybody that's interested, Full Metal Jacket was actually filmed at Bassingbourn Barracks, although it looks like it's in wherever it was supposed to. Was it Vietnam it was supposed to be in? I'm sure it's to do with the Vietnam War. Well, Full Metal Jacket, all the training side of Full Metal Jacket was filmed at Bassingbourn Barracks, and the action side of Full Metal Jacket was filmed on the Isle of Dogs in London, believe it or not, at an old brickworks before they pulled it down. And I was quite surprised about that, because when you watch Full Metal Jacket, the scenery and everything to it is absolutely superb. But if you do watch Full Metal Jacket, when they're running round with the old guy running next to him singing the song, you'll look at the road markings, and if you look carefully, you'll see all the giveaway signs are all British, and the giveaway road markings are all British. And Private Pile getting over the obstacle course in Full Metal Jacket, that was at Bassingbourn as well. So that's where all the trainees used to go when they first joined the army. And we used to take them from there to various places up and down the country. We used to take them to Catterick, and we used to take them up to Brecon Beacons, and we used to do camping and digging in up there in the mountains and stuff in Wales, and we used to take them to Scotland and that sort of thing. So I was given one particular job with the army, and I must admit I didn't really like doing the army as such. I've got nothing against the armed forces whatsoever, but bugger they can be messy. And I used to have a nice coach, and I used to keep it clean and everything. It was your responsibility to look after your own vehicle. And I got given a job which was a 2-driver job from Bassingbourn to somewhere in Cornwall, or I'm sure it was Cornwall we went to, somewhere there anyway. And it was a 2-driver job because of the distance. So we picked these young recruits up from Bassingbourn, and they were forever doing everything wrong. They'd get told one thing, because they'd carry guns with them, weapons, and they were supposed to hide the weapons under the seats, and they never took any notice of what the guy was telling them. We used to always put them up on the overhead racks, and they was forever getting told off and pulled off the coach and made to do press-ups in the mud and all sorts of things. So it was quite brutal, really. But we picked these soldiers up, and we started off taking them down to where they were going, down to Cornwall. And it's a fair long old journey, so they're all given a packed lunch by the army. Now, I feel sorry for these soldiers. I don't know what it's like nowadays, but in those days, the packed lunch that they were given was the most disgusting packed lunch you've ever seen in your life. It consisted of a sandwich that looked like it had been made 3 weeks before, a piece of fruit, either banana that were black or an apple that were rotten, a bottle of Panda Pop. Do you remember that? Panda Pop cost about 4p and tasted like nasty medicine. They got given a bottle of that. They got given a bag of crisps by a company that I'd never even heard of. I mean, the crisps were just disgusting. They really were awful, these crisps they got given. And that was their packed lunch to eat on the way down while they were travelling on the coach. And normally what happened was we had to stop somewhere along the line, let them all have a rest break, a toilet break, and they used to all buy stuff out the services anyway. So as we're going along, we're it's just like a normal day, really. The journey was pretty uneventful. We get to the other end, to the other camp, and while we're there, they're all traipsing off one behind the other, lining up. And the other driver that I was with, he said, I'll just check the coach. Well, we looked at the coach, and this coach was absolutely disgusting. It was full of packed lunch boxes, half-eaten bits of fruit, half-eaten sandwiches all over the floor. They'd made a right mess of this coach. So my mate, he got off and he saw the bloke in charge. I don't know what he'd be. He was a sergeant probably. I don't know the rankings very well in the army. But he went up to him and he said, "Oi," he says, "you get a couple of your lads to sweep this coach out. It's filthy." He said it was spotless when you got on it this morning, and look at the state of it now. So this guy says to him, he says, "Oh no," he said, we ain't got time to do that." He says, "That's not our responsibility to clean your coach out." He says, "You've had that, we're off." So he cleared off. So this guy I was with was called Derek, and he was a bit of a strange guy, to be honest. He was quite funny, but he could be a bit odd. So he says to me, "Bob," he says, "just go inside locker and get a couple of black bags out." He says, "and we'll just chuck all this stuff in this black bag." So I says, "Yeah, alright." So we cleans all this coach out, we gets all this stuff, and it's just all this food wastage, basically. Half bottles of panda poop and all that sort of stuff. Oh, it's disgusting it was, and half-eaten sarnies. So he's got this big black bag full of stuff, and I said, "What are you going to do with that?" Well, just across the road from us, if you ever watched Hello Hello, there used to be that sort of quite camp bloke who used to have like what he used to call his little tank. Well, there was one of those sort of vehicles just across the road from us, parked up. So he said, "I'll show you what I'm going to do with it." So he took this black bag of stuff, walked across to this little sort of armoured car thing, climbs on the top, opens the hatch at the top, and tips all the rubbish inside. And this guy was watching from the guardhouse, and he come running out and he goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" So this Derek says to him, he says, "Listen, mate," he says, all that food waste is there," he said, "is MOD property." He says, "and where I've just tipped it," he said, "that's MOD property as well." He says, "So if you can't be bothered cleaning my coach out," he says, "you can clean out your own little armoured car." So he just dumped it in there and left it. And this guy was just like dumbfounded that he tipped all this shit inside this armoured car. And Derek just got in the coach, got behind the wheel, and we just drove out and just left them there. And I thought, oh, we're going to get in the shit for this. But we never ever got told off, which was rather quite amazing, to be honest. We never heard anything about that one, and it was just so funny watching Derek. I was standing on top of an armoured car, tipping all shit down inside of this armoured car. That was just a bit of a funny thing to see. So we had lots of experiences with the army. A lot of them consisted of pornographic films. I used to always bring pornographic films onto the coach to play on the video player, and we had to shut all the curtains and everything while they watched XXX porn while going along and that sort of thing. And it was always quite good, because if you was a driver, you spent most of the time trying to crane your neck round to see the television rather than look at the road. It was quite distracting, really, but it was all good fun. And some of the jobs were quite a laugh with the army, to be honest. Some of the lads were quite a laugh. But I do feel sorry for anybody that joins the army and goes into, I don't know if they still call it boot camp or whatever they call it, because they get treated like shit. They really do. They get shouted at, and I couldn't do it. There's no way. I'd have to hit somebody, I think. I just couldn't cope with that sort of discipline. It's completely bonkers. So anyway, on a different note, that was that story. I was just coming up to the end of the gameplay here. There's a beautiful final kill in this, and I just really was impressed with this gameplay, considering it was with the Commando. And like I say, sometimes I get good games with the Commando, and sometimes I have a load of rubbish games with the Commando, but this one was fairly good. Different topic altogether. Just a quick hello to Jay and all the clan. We're still looking for clan members. You just need to be a dad. Just have you don't need to be any certain age. We're just called Dad Zoo Game, or we're called something like that. Jay changes the name about and changes the clan tag. But if you wish to join, I think we're level 18 now or something. That's probably wrong. I'm probably lying to you. But just send me your information. I'll pass it on to Jay, and we'll invite you into the clan. And we have the great Play with Niz as well. Nick, he is a member of our clan, although he's not a dad, I don't think anyway, but he joined the clan as a member, so yeah, he plays quite regular too. So thanks for that, Nick. And so this is Bob, Psychopathic, or whatever you'd like to call me, something horrible no doubt, signing out, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Ta-da!